So yeah, I'm going to talk about product data, specifically on the e-commerce landscape and on the Shopify aspect. So first, I'm going to, introduce me. That's me, not the same T-shirt, but that's me. I'm leading the Northern Europe partnership team. Partnership team in Shopify means quite a large different partner types. We have system integrators, agencies, tech partners, investors, VCs, and all ERPs and other kind of partners. So everything is quite linked to my team. So I'm not specifically an expert on the PM segment, a bit larger. So if you have in-depth question, you know where to find Pieter and all that, and I'll be happy to provide more answers as long as I know them. So, so in a nutshell, I wanted to share a bit of the Shopify flywheel, the impact we have. Just in the Netherlands, we've created quite a few jobs. We have, I think, last count, we had 3 million merchants overall, generating 600 million with 600 million of consumer around the globe, generating a total of almost 600 billion GMV. And that's led to created quite a few jobs, as well as created quite a large ecosystem. And we do have some partners in the room, so yeah, quite a large ecosystem. I'm not going to bore you to death with this kind of data, but just to tell you, well, that's some of the impact. Wanted to stop a bit on that because I guess most of you know Shopify, right? And sometimes you know Shopify as being the template solution for the SMBs. And not really when it comes to larger segments or more complex deals. It's not something that Shopify has been known a lot for. But if we look at the pace we have in terms of product innovation and delivery, there is a lot of things that have been happening for the last years. And something interesting to know is that over the last 12 months alone, we invested almost 1.4 billion in research and development. So we are moving super fast in terms of, having new features that are coming always. That's something that we're delivering, and that trend is going up. We have more and more that are coming, and we're trying to be at the right side of the change, being in advance when it comes to topics that could be around, Web3 or having the right content displayed at the right place, being connected to all different channels. So definitely the PIM integration is something that is important to us, but the Shopify is definitely developing in all aspects of the business when it comes to online or offline, POS or not, subscriptions, POS, all you name it, we are developing it or we have it. So yeah, just wanted to share a few things around that. So as I said, Shopify is covering quite large, from customer acquisition to international expansions, all touch points. We're trying to centralize that and being the operating system of the business as much as possible. One of the things that is key for us is our ecosystem of partners from the tech side or for our commercial side. And that's creating more power in the platform. And as I said, we're trying to put retailer on the right side of the change. As Pieter said, a lot of things are changing. There is revolutions coming. Content is key. Content is king even, So being able to push your content toward the right surface, no matter where they are, could be offline, online, could be on social media and all that. You need to have some consistency to offer the best brand experience. That's something that Shopify try to push as much as possible in different segments. So yeah, that's something that we're pushing. And yes, we have quite a lot of things around that. I've put in a few brands here with whom we're working. We have a lot of context here, right? We had the pandemics, we have a war in Ukraine, we have a lot of things that are creating more constraints for retailers. So it's important to adapt and create simplicity around solutions in all the different surface that you're encountering the retailer and your clients. So just wanted to quickly share that. But when it comes to product data on Shopify, so first Shopify, we are not a PIM, right? That's not something we do. We are connected to PIM, but we are a platform and set of tools to help businesses. we don't act as a central repository. We're connected to them, right? We're trying to create the most out of it, right? And using a PIM will definitely help connecting to the storefront and have the right experience and the right, especially in complex setup, to have the right setup. So we are not a CMS, we are not a PIM, but we are centralizing everything as much as possible to have an omnichannel experience. And especially when you have loads of content, videos, photos, and all that, it's quite important to have like specialists that are tackling that to be able to push that toward the right platform that will be connected to your audience ultimately. So yeah, that's something we do, and indeed the connection with the PIM toward the custom data platform we have is an important component of the bridge, as well as the connection to the storefront that can be on Liquid, on Hydrogen, which is headless or more the core setup of our web shops. But that's the way the connection works. Then if you're product data in Shopify, usually the product logic we have is first the attributes, everything that is related to that mug, for instance, color and all that. The collection, so the set of products that are related to a specific category, and the association. So what is linked to that specific I'm the boss mug, for instance, is related to all the I'm the boss things that you can have in your shop, for instance. So this is how we structure the product logic within Shopify. You also have meta field and meta objects, and that's really help you to have the right analytics to understand exactly where, what are the behaviors, what are the things that are working well and not in your content to take informed decisions. Product data export is about being able to export everything related to the data of your product. And we do have a few features, and I'm going to talk a bit more into that are quite interesting. I think artificial intelligence is becoming super strong. We talked about the rise of the content. We have content everywhere in every aspect of our life today. And sometimes it's hard to have relevant content at the right spot, right? And it's really hard also to do that at scale. So when you have product description, you want to be able to have the right impact. And we have artificial intelligence that will help you through keywords to generate the most impactful product description without you having to write it down. So we are developing things like that. 3D content is also something that is important. We talked about AR and VR. That's things that are also important within Shopify. It will help you to have the right experience, immersive experience, because the idea is to offer to your clients the same experience if they are in shop, online, wherever, they have the same experience to reduce everything that is related to customer dissatisfaction or returns, for instance. That could be quite impactful. So the best product, the best content that you'll be able to push on your website or wherever else is super important first for your brand, but as well as for increasing your conversion rate. Yes, so a few elements that are, I think, quite important on the connection with the PIM for Shopify. The first one is time efficiency. A lot of manual data entry are killing the business, so a PIM connected to Shopify is definitely something that will increase the speed of delivery. Having consistent, precise information across the different channels you have is also something super important. PIM ensures that. Central database enabling simplicity, cost saving from improved logistic, omnichannel efficiency, improved marketing campaign for sure, right? Indeed, we have a lot of content that is being created. How do that relate to SEO and marketing campaigns you might have? That's quite important. Also, some of the things that we realize, and I guess Pieter will say more about that or know more about that, but on the conversation we have with clients, when we're talking about one team that is dealing with data and to another team that is talking to about e-commerce, sometimes they are not talking between each other. And that's a major problem, especially on larger deals or larger clients. On the B2B side specifically, sometimes you have really disconnect. And I think having the right PIM and the right PIM implementation specifically help to create more alignment within the teams. And yeah, having the right set of products and Shopify bundles on the PIM is also important to have the right flexibility and be close to the market. What we think is important on the PIM integration, the kind of features that really move the needle. that's some of them, right? It's ability to handle multi-SKUs, product information collection, customizable fields, ability to manage substitution, workflows automation. The workflow part is quite important with Shopify. Content and marketing material management for each product. The right integration with different aspects. Pieter touched also based on that, on the CMS, the DAM, and all that. It's important to have everything also connected and have the right ecosystem. And indeed, the workflows are something important to take into consideration, especially on the supply chain part. Yes, I wanted also to share a few new features that we have with Shopify. So Shopify, every 6 months, we have the Shopify edition. We had the winter edition in February. And as mentioned previously, we are investing quite a lot in innovation. The last edition, we had 100 products that have been pushed. It's 100 out of the 170 features that we released that we selected for that edition. A few ones are quite interesting, I think, related to products. So I just took a few ones to highlight some of the things that we can be doing. And that's what I've discussed, what I've mentioned a bit earlier, being able to put a few keywords and have the product description that is generated automatically, and that will have the best impact based on the audience that you have or different inputs that you can put. Like what matters is that to have content that will convert ultimately. We also have the search part. I think is quite related to content. Often the search, or previously the search were really, if you were mistyping something, you were just not finding the product. That was also a killer in conversion and not highlighting the content the way it should. Now we have also artificial intelligence in that. So when you're typing your research, and for instance you're typing sofa, but it's not exactly what you're looking for, and we know that people often type sofa and they are actually looking for something else, then we will recommend the product that usually they're looking for. So there is a lot of things like that that will enable the capacity to find the right product and then have the right data based on that. Product bundles. Yeah, we are also seeing in the e-commerce the willingness to increase the average transaction value being an important part of the end game of some e-commerce players. Having the possibility to bundle product, to have the right content each time, to have a simple view of them, and to add product down the funnel also, are things that now we're supporting. And yeah, that I wanted to share that. So it doesn't look like much, but I think it is. And touch base on the multi-surface aspects of Shopify is that everywhere your clients are, it's important to be, and not try to pull them toward your web shop or toward your store. That you want to sell them where they are. You want to do the extra step for them to be able to connect with them and sell where they are. So we have connection with all the different social platforms. The last one is around YouTube. So for instance, you're giving a live on YouTube, and you can click and buy straight away from the YouTube page the product that you want. So things like that are super important because it's also talking about content, right? Is that it means that your content will be pushed to that platform and need to be consistent to your brand, consistent to your, consistent to every channels you have. This is also where the PM plays an important role. Translate and Adapt app, that's also something that we've been pushing lately. It's about making sure that every content is connected to the right audience. Before, you had to use third-party providers to translate the content of your product page to make sure that it was fitting the audience, and that wasn't working that well. So we integrated that, and now we have something that is really working well. Yeah, that's also a few things that are linked also to smart order routing, being able to route the routing where it's the best performing one. And also the inventory tracking is also important when it comes to the content part. So yeah, not going to go way deeper than that. I know that everyone wants to have a drink. But yeah, that was it for me.